The following is an excerpt from an askSlim premium level video. Follow us on YouTube, give us a thumbs up if you like this video, and do subscribe to this channel on YouTube. Share it. There's tons that come out every single week. Follow us on Twitter at askSlim, and write to Matt at askSlim.com for trial memberships. We have trial memberships available for all of our levels, 1, 2, 3, and 4. And go to the askSlim.com website for details. Thank you, and enjoy the video. We're going to look at the investor pulse. Now, what I want to look at now, a little different. We're going to take a look at the confirmation of what I'm going to show you in the Slimulator momentum tracker. But first, I want to show you some charts that I think are pretty interesting. Our focus is going to be on energy in this investor pulse because a lot of people are looking to buy these stocks in energy, and this is light crude. Wow, what a chart. Is that amazing? Well, what's on this chart? Well, it is all the way back to 2009, so it's about a 12-year look at crude oil. I want you to see there are repeating patterns in here that are crystal clear in these cyclical patterns. Some of them are a little bit off, but that's the principle of variance. Now, if you take my cycle analysis workshop, which right now we are offering a special 30% discount on, write Matt at askSlim.com to learn about cycle analysis. We want people to be able to learn this because they're spending a lot of time at home, and this is a 20 module, 15 plus hour workshop that you will have forever if you buy it. It's not it's really a long-term investment because you're going to have to go through it many times. And there are many videos linked to this out of our entire library. You're really going to watch 30 videos or more. So it's just an amazing teaching, and I'm going to teach you about how to recognize and understand these cycles. One of the video modules in there talks about how cycle patterns form chart patterns, and you can see the head and shoulders formed in here by these cycles. And once it broke the neckline, it goes from the top of the head to the neckline and measures down right over here. You could see it made the downside measurement and more. These cycles are pretty much 15 to 18 in length. So what does that tell you? Right over here, we're at 16 months right there. So, what we're looking at is a picture of money flow, and money has been sharply moving out of this group right over here, and it might have maybe another month or so light crude on the downside, maybe a little bit more. Remember, it's 15 to 18 months. This is the 16-month low right over here. It's a little bit early, so we're kind of looking for some test of that area on the low about 19, and then having a time period over here over coming months when it moves back up to around 30 bucks. So I wanted to show you that it's a little bit premature, and I'm going to show you more about that as we look forward. So that's a look at the monthly in oil. Remember, this is investor pulse, so we're talking about when it's probably the right time and how you will know to invest in energy and energy stocks. I'm going to move over to the XLE, which is the energy stocks, and show you a very similar picture in the cycle rhythms. Here you could see we have a comparison between oil and the XLE right over there, and the bottoms coming in here in about another 1 or 2 months likely. So that's another good picture about the energy stocks. They have fallen as they should. Now, when you get into the second half of cycles is when the downside risk comes in, and especially at a major sell zone right over there, downside risk, and then when you get to the other side of them, upside bias, upside bias, upside bias, and this one starts in a couple of months. So if you want to be buying energy stocks, or if you're already in them, you probably are looking at some more pain in here for a little bit of time, and then again that period out over here where you're likely to see them do better because the bargain hunting comes in a little better time into the market, maybe late into this year, maybe even into early 2021 right over there. It's premature based on what we just looked on the monthly in the XLE and in oil. You're probably going to have to sit through some difficult situations. Now, what about the momentum in these things? How will you really know? Well, I'm going to switch over to our momentum tracker right over here, and I'm going to pick a watch list in here that is the energy. We'll just look at the XLE, and there it is right over there. Our directional bias indicator right over here, which is that pie chart, essentially tells you that of the stocks in there, 50% are negative bias. Only 4% are positive directional bias. This is a pretty bad reading when you look at that. So just so you, for those of you that haven't seen this before, this is included in all levels of premium memberships, 1, 2, 3, and 4. And you get an idea here, the company, the directional bias, bearish, what the investor outlook is for 3 months, and then the momentum conditions or those readings for the long-term, intermediate, and short-term. What I want to do is I just want to switch over here and look at the long-term conditions. Now you can see directional bias is 50% to 4%, the rest neutral. If I look at long-term momentum, 96% and 4%. So you have an overwhelming amount of negative momentum in the energy stocks. So there's your directional bias. That was your long-term momentum right over there. What about your intermediate-term momentum? Well, that's kind of improved, right? You can see it's just like the directional bias, 50% and 4%. And if I go to the short-term momentum, you can see in here 89% neutral, 11% positive. So what's really clear is you're getting a rally right now or some upticks in the energy sector that lives within a very terrible long-term momentum condition, and hence there are so many of these stocks, I'm just going to scan on the directional bias right over here, that are really bearish. It's going to take a long time for these to get fixed, and you can see in the group there is almost nothing other than COG, which is slightly bullish in here. So you get some slightly bearish to neutral readings, but overall this group is really sick, and I wanted to show you that so you get a good sense for the conditions of the energy stocks, the energy group, light crude. It's pretty, it looks really like we're having a, we'll probably have another washout before these bottoms are in place. And that's when you start thinking about nibbling on this group. And, you're going to really have to get a good sense for momentum conditions improving before you can get any real upside in there.